Attack on Titan is real, more than Israel. But what do they have to do with one another? Let me break it down to you with a short story. Buckle up because today we're diving headfirst into the rumbling chaos of Attack on Titan. Hi everyone, Maggie here. Welcome back to Mythical Reality, where we take the myths of our favorite stories and find the reality behind them. Imagine a population cursed by history, forced into ghettos, marked by armbands bearing stars, and relegated to the lowest class, in a place steeped in European names, architecture, clothing, and culture. Let's say this place is Europe, focusing more on Germany, but still generally Europe. So Europeans are the Marlians in the anime. And let's call those discriminated people Jews, like the juice we drink. Or let's just call them J, which mirrors the Eldians in Attack on Titan. I mean, they have German names now, not because it's their origin, but because they lived there for decades. Now the important question, why were J treated this way? Why were they discriminated? Simply put, because they were evil. Well, they were victims at a certain point, to a certain level, but they used that as a victim card to cause more harm, do more evil, and bring destruction upon the world. Long ago, they were granted privilege and power over others, yet they never recognized the darkness within themselves. Instead, they believed they were the chosen ones and caused destruction or harm to everyone else, thinking they are below them and with worthless lives. After being dismissed and forgotten for decades due to their deeds, which we'll cover in a bit, they regained their power and once again used it malevolently. Their harm was focused on Arabs, who had once sheltered them and welcomed them into their homes. Their modest, humble homes and camps, even though they didn't have much, and yet they shared it with them. All of this is clearly shown and demonstrated in Attack on Titan. The author, Hajime Isayama, deliberately emphasizes this, placing particular focus on the ethnicity and religion of the main victims. He could have simply portrayed them as Arabs with traditional clothes, but instead he wanted to show their religion as well, because the main victim of those people are the Arabs and Muslims. Well, clearly he did show that they are Arabs in traditional clothes and Arabs' names like Khalil and Ramzi, but he wanted to show the religion as well, to deliver the whole message behind Attack on Titan, which I'm telling in this video. I'll tell you how he showed that they are Muslim. In Islamic law, if theft is committed multiple times till the person is called a thief, the punishment is to cut their hands off. Though in real life, actually, this doesn't apply to children or people in genuine needs. But anyways, he wanted to show Khalil losing his hand for stealing, with Ramzi standing by him, desperate to keep him from losing his other one too. He showed this specifically to tell us these are the main victims of the aliens, Muslim Arabs. When you ask them, why are you doing this? Causing destruction, genocide, and endless war, they say it's our fate, we can't change it. Or they say it's God's promise to us, because as I mentioned earlier, they think they are God's favorite people or the chosen ones. In many historical and religious scriptures, J were known as the ruiners in the land. They destroyed entire countries' economies through money lending and every dirty trick in the book just to get a buck. Theft, murder, treason, you name it. That's where the stereotype of collecting pennies and coins came from. And that's exactly why the guy with the square mustache hated them and did what he did. And that's why they were expelled and dismissed everywhere they went. Attack on Titan draws a deliberate parallel. The aliens inherited their power from their ancestor Ymir Fritz, who acquired the ability to transform into a titan after merging with a mysterious parasite known as the source of all living matter. Her descendants, the Eldians, weaponized the power, wreaking destruction and conquering nations. Over centuries, this made the aliens people universally despised, expelled, and persecuted across the world, reduced to second-class citizens in Merely or hunted elsewhere. In Germany, as you may know, the greatest punishment to those people was erasing their existence in a pit. We all know the numbers are exaggerated, but anyways. It's the same case in Attack on Titan. In Merely, the greatest punishment to aliens is erasing them in a pit, but in a different way to fit the story, of course. Aliens get hurled into a Titan forest, a walled-off peninsula known simply as the Pit. They're injected with a serum, they would lose their minds and identities and transform into mindless pure titans, doomed to wander in endless hunger with no will, no memory, and no hope of return. Remember when aliens were used as tactical weapons by the Marlians? That actually happened in real life, like exactly the same. It mirrors the expansionist power of the 20th century Europe. Because as I mentioned earlier, Marley here represents Europe in general, but here specifically not Germany, but Britain, when they used Jews in a battle called Al-Tal al-Kabir, or the Big Hill, in the 1952 conflict during the Canal War. And it was named after the Big Hill railway station, where the Egyptian resistance fighters tracked a British train loaded with troops and ammunition, blowing up the tracks to stop them and engaging in intense armed clashes to block the movements of armored vehicles. Britain formed the Zayil Mule Corps in 1915. Made up of Jewish refugees, and they served as support forces in many other battles like Gallipoli. Later, the Jewish Legion was officially established, comprising 5 battalions that fought alongside the British against Ottomans. You may be wondering, what would they get from fighting with them? Well, they got a land. UK promised them a land that it doesn't own with Balfour Declaration. The most injustice thing ever happened. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, focus with me. Again, Jay living in Europe and generally, and let's focus now on the UK and fighting for them and forming a corps called Zion Mule in this case. What would that be in Attack on Titan? It's the Marlian warrior unit. They are technically aliens, but they fight for the Marlians, like Reiner, Balthor, Zeke, Annie, etc. Let's check the starting point of the story. Where did it all begin? The power of the Titans, where did it come from? And is there a reality parallel to it? Ymir was a young girl whose village were conquered by the aliens, the tribes led by King Fritz. Her parents were murdered and her tongue was cut out. Later, she was falsely accused of freeing a pen of pigs and was hunted like an animal, with arrows flying past her and hounds in pursuit. In a desperate attempt to escape, she fled into a massive tree, where she fell into a deep pool and came into contact with a mysterious parasite. It bonds with her, grants Titan power, and connects all the aliens, her descendants, through the paths. So, Ymir merging with it, she emerged as the first Titan. They call this parasite the source of all living matters. It's just something ancient and fundamental, right? Yep, it has a real-life parallel. Same shape, ancient enough to call it the source of all living matters, 500 million years old. It's called hallucinogen in real life. I'm wondering why Isayama drew from it the inspiration of the source of Titans. Does he know something that we don't? Imagine a 5 million years old spine worm deciding the human history. Those paths that connect Ymir to her descendants, the inherited hatred and ingrained mentality passed down through generations from the mother specifically aligns perfectly with the image of Jay, where you can't be one of them unless your mother is. In the old history books, within the anime we're talking now, people believed the Titans were born because Ymir made a pact with the devil to get the Titans' power, while in fact she emerged with that parasite. But interestingly, in real life, Jay, who are Eldian's parallels, They made pact with demons, according to so many history books and documented events. Not one pact, pacts. They were the founders of those secret societies and organizations with the main purpose of the devil worship. Wow, realization moment? Ironically, the legend in the anime is more real in real life at this point. Let's look at things from a psychological angle now. Attack on Titan covered deep subjects like Stockholm Syndrome and intergenerational trauma through the dark story of Ymir. Stockholm Syndrome was clearly depicted through her relationship with the King Frizz, who rewards her by making her his concubine, weapon, and baby maker. She stirs him obsessively even after death, lingering in the paths of 2,000 years. Building titans on command because of the twisted love trauma bound him. Stockholm on a cosmic scale. Her daughters eat her corpse to inherit her power. Generational cannibalism and endless war from one folk, just like in real life. And for the intergenerational trauma, Attack on Titan delivers a clear message that says you can't really break it unless you're really aware. The king inside the walls tried to end this cycle by isolating his people and accepting their eventual extinction, hoping the hatred would disappear with time. Eren Yeager rejected this as unjust and chose to fight back instead. As the ending shows, his actions did not break the cycle. Hatred continued long after the story ended. While watching Attack on Titan, ever wondered if it's possible in real life? I mean, turning into titans. Okay, let's talk a bit scientifically here. Titan-like regeneration would require a body with powerful stem cells that can quickly rebuild any damaged part, from bones and muscles to nerves and skin. The organism would need a perfect system to control cell growth, prevent cancer, and provide enough energy to create new tissue. It would also need to connect everything correctly, every cell on its place. Otherwise, you're gonna regenerate like more cells to be bigger, but maybe you'll have a hand in your leg or a leg in your head. You don't know. The point is it's gonna be deformed. While some animals like axolotls can regenerate parts of their bodies, regeneration on a titan level is far beyond what humans can currently achieve. So we need one thing for a stronger cell, where cells would need to avoid extreme stress, avoid damage, and repair their own DNA. Growth achievements, where the body would need signals to tell the cells to rapidly multiply and rebuild missing tissues. Stem cell control, where the cell would need to transform into whatever needed, whether skin, tissue, nerve, muscle, etc. And growth regulation, because something must stop the process at the exact right point. Otherwise, on cell level, uncontrolled cells growth would cause cancer, and on a bigger level, we can't have a titan that will grow endlessly. So maybe the missing thing we need to achieve these 5 points is hallucigenia, the creature that Hajime Isayama drew the parasite, the source of titans from it. Who knows? Centuries have likely passed since Eren Yeager's death. And yet in the final scene of Attack on Titan, after the world has developed, we still see the world suffering from destruction and chaos. It was never truly the titans that were the problem. The real enemy was the endless cycle of hatred and the evil within some people. Well, Attack on Titan for me is my favorite anime, and it's a legendary anime, and even people who don't really watch anime, they watch it because the story is so deep, so meaningful, and as you could see, it mirrors a lot of things from real life. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see you in the next video.